Hey guys, this is Matt for Creative, and I just got done shooting New York Fashion Week. And if you are a minimalist or if you don't have a lot of equipment, and this is gonna kind of ruin the video, if all you have is an iPhone, that is literally all you need to shoot New York Fashion Week. So I am at a luxury, like I have a luxury of having professional cameras. I have the DJI Pocket 3 that I'm shooting on right now. I have this. I have so many things. And if you saw my minimal setup that I had earlier, I kind of packaged all of these with like little tripods and everything, and I put them in a bag and I carried them with me. Now, a lot of the time, when you go to New York Fashion Week, you need to get these RSVPs. You need to go through PR firms, and you need to guarantee that you're in there. But I think once they're in there, sometimes photographers will go really all out. Sometimes photographers are a little bit insecure in their equipment, especially if you do like one-on-one shooting. You may meet a client and they look at your tiny little camera, and even I would equate this as a small looking camera, and they may think, oh wow, really, that's all you have? Do you not take this seriously? And especially if you're like getting to a shoot and you're like, hey, I brought my camera, this is all I have. And they look at you and they're like, you're fired, get out of here. You really don't fall like that. You don't have any of those issues when you've already RSVP'd. Now, I was shooting for a French magazine, and I had a lot of the RSVPs done. I didn't have to do them, so thankfully I was just approved, and I went, and I was there. Now, I, again, brought all of my setup, but a lot of the times when I was shooting, I found myself using my iPhone 16 Pro. I did bring always two phones with me, but you don't have to. But this is kind of what I would use as my minimum. I would use one of the Pro phones because I think it's essential to have something that has telephoto. I think it's essential to be able to shoot in Apple RAW, which the standard phones, the 15s, the 16s, do not shoot in Apple RAW. You can use apps like Moment to shoot in True RAW, but True RAW sometimes is a little bit too grainy and the camera takes a little bit too long. So Apple RAW is a good kind of equivalent if you're doing photography. Now, photography has its place. If you're shooting for a magazine, I have to shoot photography. But what I love shooting and what I think kind of helps more with storytelling and the vibe of an event is shooting short form video. I will shoot 7 seconds at the minimum, kind of like capture the model and where they're going, and you get the music in the background, you get everything. I think that really works well. And what I shot in was in all the standard formats in 4K, but I was shooting in 60 frames per second. And even if you have an iPhone 15 Pro Max, you can still shoot in 4K 60. This one shoots in 4K 120, but that only limits you to the standard lens, and that means you can only use it in 1x zoom or 2x digital zoom. That means that the ultra wide and the 5x zoom in this case, you cannot use it. That's just an unfortunate thing, you cannot use it, but 60 is kind of that perfect sweet spot because if you're posting just a video at 60 frames per second, it'll look natural on Instagram. But what I do a lot of the time to kind of get a little bit more of a vibe to it, I will reduce it by 50%, so it's still 30 frames per second, and you get nice slow motion. It's not as slow as 4K 120, it's still slow enough where you get the vibe. Now, if you want to see photos that I took, videos that I took and everything, I've been posting all of them to my Instagram page. So rather than include them here in little clips, look at my Instagram, M8B9, and I've posted literally probably 100 videos so far with still 100 yet to do. And why I think this is the best is I was able to literally just pull out my phone, focus, go in 5x, because sometimes you don't get a great vantage point. So a lot of times I was just kind of like reaching up like this, but I was able to track those models at 5x and kind of just go like this, get the look, get their facial expressions, get everything, and go on to the next clip and the next clip and the next clip. And with I think 3 of the shows, I did that, and I did that pretty well. I was going over people's heads, shooting like this, and I got all the clips that I really needed. Now, in some cases, I got premium, like really good spots where the models are basically this far in front of you. So using the ultra wide, I was able to get a giant image of just kind of like them literally coming right in front of me. At times they're even looking right at me, probably thinking, what's this guy doing so close? But it was just like, it worked out perfectly well. But that shows the need for kind of 3 lenses at the very minimum. Now, if you have an older phone, and this is something that I used sometimes, but not always, this is going to be great. This is an iPhone 13 Pro, and this is kind of the minimum Pro phone that I would recommend using, because the 12 Pro, unfortunately, has a 2 times zoom on the telephoto camera. This is a 3 times zoom. That's significant. It just gets you a little bit more there, and I think it kind of helps having 3 true cameras. Now, one thing, shooting in 60 frames per second on the 15 Pro up to the current Pro cameras, you can go in between and toggle telephoto, wide, ultra wide, if they're getting really close to you, and you can do that in one seamless thing. You cannot do that in 60 frames per second on a 13 Pro or 14 Pro line. And that means you're stuck at 30 frames per second, which is good, but if you want to do 60 frames per second, you are stuck in the telephoto lens, or you are stuck in the wide lens, or stuck in the ultra wide, and you don't have that flexibility. And I really love having that flexibility, because if the model starts all the way there and then I'm realizing, okay, they're coming pretty close, I continually want to zoom out. So I'm getting the entire outfit there, and it really works. And if I want to, I'm going to cut these, because I don't want to start and stop and change lenses. It just takes too long. But if this is all you have, you are still able to do what I think is perfect coverage of this professionally. Now, I've been sending all of my photos and videos through shared iCloud libraries. My client, my magazine, has been very happy with them. Again, if you want to see examples of the photos or videos, check out the Instagram. But literally, if you are already secured a spot at one of these and you're insecure about the equipment that you have, and this is all you have, do not be insecure. But I do recommend getting a phone. It doesn't even have to be an iPhone, with a telephoto, with a standard, and with an ultra wide, because it just helps you be more flexible. It's like you're carrying more lenses. As a comparison here, I have my beautiful professional camera here, but I'm stuck with a, what is this, a 56? No, this is the 35. This is a 35 millimeter lens. I'm kind of just stuck with that, unless I want to swap the lenses out. If I'm shooting with the with the Pocket 3, this is a Pocket 2, kind of stuck with that standard lens. There's no zooming. The flexibility of this, the autofocus on this in the 15 Pro Max was perfect. It only very rarely lost things. It's because one of the venues had a very huge amount of light through this giant window, and then it was kind of getting the models lost in this kind of like darkness. It was a little bit sketchy on that, but mostly all of these fashion shows are going to be probably overly well lit, where here's my little tip also. If I'm shooting my video, I'm scrolling up, I'm going to the exposure, and I'm turning it to at least 0.7, if not 1.3 if it's like huge bright lights on it. And that really helps, because it gets me the exact exposure. Things aren't overblown. The HDR doesn't kind of mess up. It really does a great job. So again, I've said this 5 times already. If you have an iPhone, you can shoot New York Fashion Week. Do not feel insecure about it. So guys, if you have any questions, comments, again, for all references, go to the Instagram, M8B9. I think that really helps. And I was happy shooting, and if for whatever reason I drop my camera, if the battery on the Pocket 3 is dead and all I have is this, I will at least know and feel comfortable that I was able to shoot. Maybe get a MagSafe battery if your battery is going to get too low. That's the only thing. Otherwise, you should be fine. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, put in the comment section below. Don't forget, I'm on Instagram and Threads at M8B9. You can email me at creativenyc2025@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.